What's up, guys? This is Zenki Style here. I am getting ready to start with some spray painting, and this is, I think, one of the most important things we miss out on in this hobby. We focus on these airbrushes, but these little cans right here, they are one of our best tools. They are cheap, effective, and if you can't afford an airbrush, this is a great way to lay down a base coat. Now, it's still pretty cold out here. Now, I've got some form of heat in here, and I've heated this can using just tap water. Now, the reason why we're going to use tap water in this case is because you don't want to boil a can. You don't want this thing to explode. So, simply just by heating this can in tap water, I've warmed up the paint, and as you can hear the ball, it's pretty loose in there. Now, one of the most important things in spray painting is to shake this can up really well. You want it really well shaken, because the more shaken up it is, the more broken up the pigment is, the better it's going to spray. Now, I'm getting my desk here clean. A lot of people fear painting. There's nothing to fear in painting, because in all reality, it doesn't take a whole lot to paint. A few paint brushes. In this case, what I have here is just a little skewer, and I will be using this to hold the part. If you don't want paint on your hands, it's a good way to hold the part. Another option is sticky tack. I've used sticky tack myself for most of my beginning times. What I would do is take just a box lid, just your standard kit box. I'm making a mess over here. All my stuff still is not quite organized. But I would take just a basic box like this, flip it over, take my Zaku out. It's an important kit. A friend of mine sent it to me some years ago. I will be building it on video here too again. But you can simply just place a little wad of sticky tack right here, the blue tack, poster tack, whatever you want to call it, and stick the parts to it. And this is a good way to paint batches of parts. You can paint whole batches of parts a solid color and do so very quickly that way. It takes a little time to place all the parts sometimes, but it's much quicker than what I'm going to do here. What I want to show you guys, especially those of you just starting out to paint, this is a great way to lay a base color. Now, I started this tutorial last night. As you can see, my desk, I'm trying to clean it up some. It was pretty nasty looking. It has some, I don't know, I guess they tried to make art out of it. I got this desk, once again, like I said in another video, out of the trash. I needed something to work with. But what we're going to do right here is just show you how easy this can be. People focus a lot on distance, but distance is going to vary between can and type of spray. Now you see it's beating up there. I didn't wash these parts at all, and it's very cold. I was originally planning on using matte paint. I ran out of it doing the other video last night, which got ruined. But I'm giving it a little bit of time to sit. Said if you notice, I was not very close to the part. We're about a medium distance. These are the Tamiya cans that I like to use, and there's a reason why I like to use these Tamiya cans. They are absolutely some of the best paint that you can buy, honestly. They're about $6 to $7 a can. The reason why I suggest them over, hardware spray paints or something like that, especially for beginners, is they're just about foolproof. They spray an extremely fine quality of paint. It's high quality, it's strong, durable. One of my most favorite products for just about anything. Now, once again, this is going to be a base coat for just showing you how to hand paint, so I'm not really worried about quality in this coat. I'll go back through and sand it out later. But the point being is that even in this cold weather, as you see, I let it sit a little while, because you want fine, thin coats. You don't want to put a thick coat on it at first. You never want to lay down a thick coat at first. Specifically, because if you saw that beading, you see it starting to drop out some now. Now this is a gloss. I originally wanted to do it with matte, because matte sprays a lot better in the cold. The gloss, on the other hand, not so much. But as you can see, that's starting to work out a little bit better. Some of that beading's going away. The reason why this happens is because as that paint's having time to dry, it's basically building a sticky layer. So once you have your sticky layer there, you can start to build more layers. And now I'm going to be extremely cautious here, because like I said, it's cold. But as you can see, I'm maintaining about a 3 to 5 inch distance. Distancing is important, but it's important in effect because not all spray cans spray the same. You have to learn your spray can. This is why I suggest Tamiya's, because I can spray from back here and it still coat pretty nicely. And you see, it's just laying down pretty decently. Given it's probably about 45 degrees, I think, today, this is a pretty good result. I'm gonna keep shaking the can as I go because you want to keep that pigment stirred up. As you can see, I'm just turning the part. I'm getting overspray on my ring. I'm gonna have to get that off the next time I make a video. As you can see, for base coat, for something I plan on hand painting over, that's pretty good. Now, granted, I do not suggest spraying over gloss. You can see a little bit of wrinkling there, and I'm not sure. That appears to be depression in the part. That is actually not in the paint. That is actually in the part. Good going, Bandai. All right, I'm gonna dig around here real quick, see if I can't find a matte can. My stuff is still very scattered. It's probably not professional of me to start trying to make videos with such a scattered workplace, but it is what it is. I said, I'm doing these videos just, as I've said before, as it goes. I want you guys to see. I want you to see the imperfections. I want you to see the mistakes. I want you to understand that even to get good results, sometimes you got to make a lot of mistakes to get there. Now, it looks like I'm about SOL on a matte can, but just for a basic spray, what we got here, as you can see, as it's starting to dry now, is really not that bad. It has a few little bit of hairs or something that got stuck in it, but I don't want you guys to fear painting. This is easy. It's very easy. There's not a lot to it. It's about as simple as pick that can up and shake when the temperatures are right. So what I'm going to do now is lay waste to this can of paint, because let's face it, my desk is kind of ugly and I'm sure you guys don't want to stare at random blue. And as you can see, it gives you a good way to watch how paint layers and builds up. You can see it covering up. See, paint is always built in layers. It's something you will have to learn as you go on and try to move forward in model making, is how to layer paint. I like these lacquer cans specifically, and very much so Tamiya's, because as I said before, the paint's very high quality. It gives good coverage, and when you're working with hand painting detail especially, which I will go into in our next little tutorial, it really, really helps. You can actually take things and like a toothpick, you can take and lay a little bit of detail in acrylic, and when you do that, you see right here, if you can, I'm not sure if it's in the camera, but you can see the layering. You can see that it's building up in a layer. Now I'm going to run out of paint pretty quick running it this way, but the reason why I suggest spray cans for beginners, not all of us can afford an airbrush. And you know, you don't need an airbrush. You don't have to have an airbrush. It's a beautiful tool. It's a wonderful tool. I love them myself. It's actually my favorite art tool in the world, but you don't need it. You don't have to have it. To make a beautiful model kit, all you have to do is have a little bit of spray paint, and Tamiya makes great primers. You know, a primer makes a great base coat for hand painting. And in case of our Gundam models, this paint adheres so well because it is a lacquer of some sort. I believe it is a synthetic lacquer, and I can't remember what the base is right now. I'd have to go back and look it up. As you can see, just a nice even distance, and look, even in the cold, how that's starting to lay down. It's all white, so you might not be able to see much more than the color differential, but this was not hard. That's something you have to overcome, is thinking that anything in this hobby is hard. It's not. This hobby is easy. It's all basic, simple steps to get an expected result. And when you get an unexpected result, well, sometimes you just got to work with your lemons. Guys, anyone can build anything. That's Zenki Style, out.